Razor and the 14 Devils. Who the hell are they? 15 against 15. What games are we playing today? Let's find out. What's up, guys? It's Jughead here. Welcome back to our Let's Watch Hunter x Hunter series. Today we are watching episode 68, Pirates and Guesses. So without any further ado, tune in to my full uncut reaction and stay for my in-depth analysis after the episode. So, Hunter x Hunter, episode 68 in 3, 2, 1. Let's watch, shall we? What are we getting into today here? 15 against 15. We're here to talk first. I don't think there's going to be many words exchanged. They want action. Pirates and Guesses. If we're going to be battling, fighting, competing, use force, I don't know what sport or game takes 15 players. I don't think we're playing rugby. So we're sumo wrestling. Killua, with his intelligence and tactical acumen, he can tell right away who's bad. He quits. He said, let go. Yeah, he admitted defeat. But now, who's disqualified? That guy or Gon? So you lose again. Or are you disqualified? Yes, use that for somebody you're a good matchup against. What are you gonna do? Uh-oh, liquor's flammable. Oh! No mercy whatsoever. Holy shit. Lit his head on fire. See, it's not just physical prowess. It is strategy. A bottle of liquor and a little bit of electricity. Yeah, there's a taste of your own medicine. You lost. You made up the rules, follow your own rules. You said anything after that is meaningless. I'll take you to the boss. Is that going to be Razor? In his castle? Or what is this? That was quick. I thought oh my god, we are playing sports. So is it going to be all 1 versus 1? Because the only game I can think of that is 15 players is rugby. Not basketball, not soccer, not football, not baseball. There's Razor. We gonna play Haikyuu? This is gonna be an episode of Haikyuu. We saw him with the volleyball spike against the Phantom Troops boat. There a volleyball net back there? That seems to be his sport. A match in their best sport. So we saw boxing, we saw basketball. Please be Gon. That'll be Gon, right? That should be Gon. Oh. Okay. Any item created by Nen. So you can conjure, you can emit. What does that mean? Why did you choose boxing? Was that a mission? Yeah. Razor is an emitter, so I would assume his 14 pirates are also emitters. There we go. Okay, we didn't need Gon for this. He can save his Jajangkin. Oh, what? Simultaneous hit? God damn. I think... Teleportation? Huh? What do you mean teleportate? That's sick. That was cool. I'm not gonna even be upset our team got a loss. I wasn't paying attention if they announced, is it 3 strikes you're out? Yeah, I think Gon and Killua. Killua mostly because he's the tactical one and the aware one. He's kind of noticing we're not gonna make it with this team. And so this reminds me a lot of Trick Tower, actually. Carefully designed contests to not just test your physicality or your nen skills, but also strategic thinking and teamwork, which was half the decision-making process in Trick Tower. Who versus who, the strategic choices to wager or sacrifice losses, and your hours left. So you have Killua here, placing. This is who should go up against who. We should cut out these contests automatically. We're wasting time. And that's not loose players, so he may just be like, let's cut our losses. She lose on purpose? Yeah, I think they're gonna lose on purpose. Let's not waste energy, let's not waste time. Let's not risk anything. Let's learn as much as we can and kind of get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Why risk getting hurt or wasting time if we're not going to reach 8 wins in the first place? Yes. Now we know what we're up against. I like this too. Traditional shonen, I've watched a lot. Traditional shonen, like valor is where victory is the expected outcome always. Here, they made the deliberate choice to lose 3 matches. Sacrifice, immediate triumph, to gather intelligence, let's reset, and minimize collateral damage. That's another theme that makes Hunter x Hunter so different. A loss on the surface is essential to gain the greater advantage later on. Yes, lose deliberately, gather information. I think most of y'all need to go out. Yeah, leave. That's true. Yeah, they can't even gather this card, and so it's a waste of time for you guys too. That was your mission. But we know Gon, Killua, Bisky, they're gone. And Killua is shining this episode so far. I love that. I love when we get to see Killua's intelligence and tactical awareness. He was the one who had like the nuanced understanding of the game's stakes. None of that typical bravado, strategic sacrifice. Okay. to incite infighting. I love their faces. Ooh, interesting. And ideally, they'd already be in a party of 11. You know who I want them to go after. You know who I want them to go. Let's see Chrollo's name. Yep. AKA Hisoka. Let's grow stronger. Disbanding is not a sign of weakness. It's just acknowledging your strategic limitations. Time to make new connections, and I want that to be fucking Hisoka. Only food and water, because it's not what he's there for. I also forget, like, you can just casually say, oh, the member of the troop, Phantom Troop, despite, because everybody knows who they are. I am an idiot, so I'm still gonna see. I love that. I love this dynamic, their differences, and she's just the balance. Again, I said it last episode, I love the levity and the comic relief and the humor in the animation they're pulling off this arc that you saw a little bit, but not enough of in the previous episode. Okay, we're seeing Hisoka's whole ass cheeks. I can see his hair's down, but I can see that red hair anywhere and that pale skin. I know that man anywhere. It's Hisoka. Now don't turn around and have a boner because you're looking at two children. Damn, we got the V. We got the base of the shaft practically. Jesus Christ. Let's remember Bisky's 50-something years old. She's probably liking what she's seeing. But he's liking what he's seeing. Oh, God. Okay, he's like a Ken doll down there. More and more appetizing. Please don't actually... Yeah, who is this pervy freak? This is where Hisoka's actually being just very... There she is, drooling. I knew it. Be less creepy though, please. It's been easier to justify your philosophies and your demeanor in the past, but you being just full on naked right now, calling two boys appetizing, you're making it hard. Is he speaking half-truths? He's speaking half-truths. He's half lying to his would-be allies. Yeah, so he's already met the Phantom Troop. So he's lying about the fact that they'll come to him because they've already met. And he knows where Chrollo is because Chrollo's the one who hired him. And he does have leads. Or else why would he be here? He's after Abengane. But I'm trying to figure out exactly what his... Wait, go back. Where's my cursor? Okay, hold on. Ah, okay. Hisoka can definitely tell that she's much stronger than her age lets on. That she must be. Oh, she knows he's lying too. Why do you want to go to the City of Love? There he is, looking exactly like he always has. She can tell by his aura or by his... not the way Melody could with the heart beater. Oh, true, that's in her personality too. It's better to keep him around than to let him roam free and not know what the hell's happening. God damn it! Stop. Now you're making it too difficult to try and justify or explain why you are the way that you are. But that was just some straight pedo shit. God damn it. Ugh. That's the first time it's been like in a while, maybe Heaven's Arena, but where it's been like, this is just creepy. Not even where you can sort of understand the, okay, it's his mantra, his code. It's not about them as blah blah blah. It's about what he wants to like. But that was just, you're looking at two children's butts right there. Okay. Killua is a cerebral tactician. He's dissecting him. That's a shot right there. Holy crap. That's my thumbnail. But Hisoka can tell that he can tell. And Gon's just la-di-da-di-da. Yeah, look how naive he looks. God damn! We know Hisoka's not interested in that, but... Really? What the hell is going on in this city? Why did Hisoka want to come here? Yeah, why are we here? I'm not following. That's what was wrong. What? The word bored. If I entered this game to find someone, what would I do? I would see how important the spell cards are. Gon and Bisky ran into Hisoka while I was outside taking the hunter exam. That means they encountered him while they were training near Masadora. Hisoka's been to Masadora. Makes no sense for him to live. Okay. If he were truly looking for the troop, he wouldn't have left Masadora. True. If he was What did I just do? If he was genuinely looking for the troop, he would gather spell cards that would help him find the troop. If that's what I'm understanding where he's getting at. The breadcrumbs he's following to his logical conclusion. We won't be bored here. Ah. He has nothing left to do. So he is bored. Waiting for something. Biding his time. So distracting himself and distracting y'all. That was a good shot too. Because Gon will open his trap. Yeah. Even though Gon, he doesn't know Abengane is the Nen exorcist, but he knows Abengane. And Abengane would be in their books if you use the contact card or whatever. Ooh, Tsezguerra. I never thought about that. Though I don't know how strong Tsezguerra is. Ooh. Yes, if you check his binder, you can see who he's contacted or who he's been around. Get him to open his book. But Gon knows nothing, and he's naive. Take a peek. You shouldn't have said the name. I don't trust Hisoka though. He's doing something. Yep, that smirk right there. Yep. So it's Tsezguerra, not Tsezguerra. Now I know how to pronounce it. What is he using his Nen on? Is that bungee gum or texture surprise? Oh my god, it's texture surprise. It's a fake piece of paper. It's a fake screen. What a fucking trickster. I should have known. That's so genius. Wow. This was Killua's episode today. He shined bright the whole episode. Knowing how to get that guy out of the circle, deliberately choosing to lose the matches, orchestrating that, to gather intelligence, disbanding their party, realizing the current lineup isn't suited to overcome those pirates, and piecing together Hisoka lying. Not a whole lot happened this episode. This feels like a great build-up episode, setting the stage for the upcoming episodes that are going to be packed, I'm sure, with our rematch against Razor and his Devils, with Hisoka on our team and a new squad assembled, possibly with Tsezguerra's team as well. Maybe something to do with the troop and then Abengane and everything. So this discussion might not be too long. It's really going to be exposition-based. I really just want to talk about Killua and Hisoka this episode. Like I said, I love the focus on Killua today to shine and for me to witness precisely what his strengths are. The strengths I think a lot of people don't give credit or acknowledgement enough to, his character development from a writing and narrative point of view, and then how he contrasts with Gon, as always, as the two round each other out. Killua's performance in this episode is a masterclass, really on observation above all. Killua steps in for the challenge where someone must leave the ring of fire, and instead of fighting to win conventionally, which he saw the person before him fail at, and which would just waste time and energy, Killua used his quick thinking and resourcefulness, using a bottle of liquor at the bar to douse the pirate's head, which then ignited when combined with the electricity. Boom. Whew. He beat the fat guy at his own game, following the rules he made. The tactic, it wasn't driven by raw power and showing off, but a calculated use of the environment around him with his own abilities. He values strategic planning and wit and calculating over sheer force, a quality that distinguishes him from many of his peers in this show. Early on, he quickly discerns that their 15-person lineup isn't up to par when facing the pirate challenge. He immediately notices, even before they were led into the gym area, that the team's weaknesses or limitations in terms of both, physical prowess and nen abilities will cost them dearly in a head-to-head sports battle. His eyes miss no detail, from the structure of the challenge to the inadequacy of his teammates and their reflexes and their abilities and their powers and their strength. He's the one to notice it was a simultaneous hit in the boxing match. It's this kind of acute awareness of his that gives him the confidence to step forward and propose a radical new strategy. Deliberately lose the matches to conserve energy, gather intel, avoid unnecessary injuries. He assesses this situation logically and doesn't get clouded by the typical shonen urge to win no matter the cost. Orchestrating a controlled loss isn't about saving face in front of Razor or the team or anyone. It's about understanding that victory in this instance isn't measured by the score or the points or who's on top, but by the information they can secure and the long-term advantage it confers and provides. The team knows what it would take for Genthru and his team to acquire the card now, let alone even trigger the event, which they now know he has no chance to do. They know Genthru will not be able to gather a team of 15 players, nor would his two cronies be strong enough, I assume, to compete in any of those challenges. He can't get the card, and he can't beat the game without the card, so no need to worry right now. Hence, the team breaks up, as that was the mission for most of the players, like Asta and everyone else. Just prevent Genthru from winning. Gon, Killua, and Bisky are still going to try and go after the card because they actually want to beat the game themselves. They'll worry about Genthru coming after them for that card later when it's time to cross that bridge and deal with him. In the meantime, let's build a new team of strong players. First up, Hisoka. Another standout moment is Killua seeing through Hisoka's layered deceptions after he's told by Bisky that Hisoka is lying, and now he knows to pay attention. Killua's analytical, cerebral mind picks up on subtle inconsistencies in Hisoka's story. He lets Gon do the talking and the questioning because he knows Gon will not arouse suspicion, because he knows Gon harbors very few of his own. Killua is the suspicious, trepidatious one, and it's not born out of paranoia or cynicism alone. It's supported by the fact he's usually right because of his meticulous observation. I don't think Gon and Killua fully know or understand what Hisoka's nen abilities are. I forget just how much or little Hisoka told Gon in their match at Heaven's Arena, which Killua would have heard from the stands. That's how they were all on the same page. And I know he told Gon he's a transmuter, but I forget if Hisoka talked about his texture surprise and or bungee gum, both, or if it was just bungee gum. So Killua would not have the knowledge or awareness to suspect that the bookbinder would or could be affected by texture surprise and be misdirecting them. That's the only reason Killua, the tactical backbone of the group, fails to see this manipulation and this deception. Gon. He's a character defined by his raw determination and straightforward bravery. His actions, while courageous, are often propelled by an impulsive, trusting nature. We literally see that done multiple times this very episode while talking to Hisoka and attempting to help that cornered woman in Love City before Killua bonked him over the head, saying, what are you doing? Gon even admits this episode, and he has several times in episodes past, that, yes, I'm an idiot. I'm dumb. I'm just the way I am. I'm not going to change. Gon doesn't approach situations with the same calculated detachment that Killua does. Killua's methodical approach allows him to notice details and plan several moves ahead, which is something Gon is still learning to do. Last episode, while Killua was thinking about how to capitalize on the game's market economy, trading leave cards, and then, making sure the value of their information is met with equal value of cards given to them when they met with the Alliance, Gon, he was busy still thinking back about those sick villagers from like 5 episodes ago, weeks ago in their time, wondering if he could help them, completely unaware of the reward bestowed upon them after such a kind gesture. The difference between Gon and Killua is crucial. Gon's heart is in the right place, but Killua's mind is several steps ahead. Gon's idealism and sincerity have always been the emotional core of the series so far, driving him to take risks, but also forge those strong bonds with those around him. Idealism can be a liability. Killua's transformation over the course of some of the latter half of the York New arc, but most of the Greed Island arc, has been marked by his slow, gradual adoption of a more nuanced, almost coldly rational outlook. Gon's bravery is admirable, obviously, but Killua's willingness to sacrifice immediate victory in favor of long-term gain demonstrates a more sophisticated understanding of survival and power dynamics, which goes along with his family background. It is Killua who realizes that sometimes retreat and resetting and information gathering are not signs of weakness, but strategic necessities in a world where every decision you make carries life-altering consequences. But despite their differences, the contrasting approaches of Gon and Killua create a powerful and, most of all, fun synergy. And that's what I love about the two of them together. It's so dynamic. And that's what I love about Hunter x Hunter. Remember that rant I went on a couple discussions ago, just praising the hell out of Togashi? Hunter x Hunter constantly subverts the traditional shonen tropes. Rather than glorifying victory at all costs, winning no matter what, losing not being an option, and that usually comes to the point of plot armor and broken power scaling, the narrative of Hunter x Hunter rewards intelligence and strategy, and that includes tactical sacrifice and a deep understanding of one's own limitations. Killua embodies this ethos by showing that sometimes the smartest move is not to win a contest outright, but to use the opportunity to learn, adapt, and ultimately turn the tables later on in the long run. And then let's talk about Hisoka. The very first moment Hisoka re-enters the plot, already highly charged, already a whole lot going on the screen. What are my eyes seeing? Double cheeked up. Our trio teleports to find him naked, bathing in a pool of water in the forest. We get a glimpse of them butt cheeks, and we see how shredded he is as he turns around to full-on expose himself to 2 minors. Dick just hanging out in the breeze. This isn't just a random visual choice. This is a deliberate introduction that encapsulates several of Hisoka's traits, his core traits. He's erotic and unsettling. His nakedness in the water, set against a backdrop of like what I was getting of like misty, almost dreamlike forest, immediately that signals his unconventional power and seduction. And not just by, natural happenstance, that's just the way he is. His purposeful, unconventional approach to power and seduction. He presents himself purposely as both alluring and unsettling. There's an undercurrent of sexual energy that always borders on the perverse, especially when his presence sparks a mixture of fascination and discomfort. This moment, ambiguous as to whether he's exhibiting a full-on erection, that's kind of the energy I got, which I don't know if that's what the boys are shocked at and lifting their eyes up at, and what Bisky is drooling at. I don't know. That's kind of what I got. Regardless, I guess the ambiguity is what plays into the tension between what is overtly sexual and what is subtly suggestive. Hisoka also possesses uninhibited confidence. Oh, you walked in on me naked with none of my makeup on and my hair down. Okay. Hisoka's nudity isn't just for shock value. It's a display of his complete and utter comfort in his own skin. And I feel like it symbolizes his total disregard for what would you call it? Societal norms, etiquette, total disregard of what others think, and his unabashed approach to his desires. The line, "You grow more appetizing with every day," is so... Ugh. On one level, it's him expressing his physical, almost predatory lust, a perverse pleasure taken in observing their growth, both physically and in their burgeoning nen abilities. Hisoka has always been drawn to potential opponents, and here, the is maturation a word? I feel like I've heard that before. The maturation of Gon and Killua represents an evolving challenge that tantalizes him. The unripe fruit are becoming more and more juicy, soon ripe for the picking and biting into. On another level, the line still hints at a more philosophical stance. Power, in his view, is something to be savored and cultivated. Think about the last time he probably witnessed both of their Ren. Probably Heaven's Arena. That feels like a long time ago, and that was nowhere close to where they are now. Their increasing aura intensity when Hisoka turns around isn't merely a sign of growth, it's an invitation, making them appetizing in a way that blends both their innocence and the latent power they carry. But that line is delivered in a way that that's both seductive and menacing. It just gives me the heebie-jeebies. It walks that very fine line between straightforward, between a straightforward, almost lecherous comment about and cryptic observation about the nature of growth and strength. This duality continues to forces me and the characters to grapple with whether Hisoka's remark is simply perverse and what other people call pedo-like, or if it carries deeper meaning, still nonetheless tied to his philosophy. That's what I'm still trying to settle on. Because you can't excuse the fact he casually stared at Gon and Killua's asses. That just amplifies his reputation as a pervert. Tie that with the appetizing line, and then how he walks in front of them, almost as if he's parading his interest. But it's this ambiguity that's such a hallmark of his character. If you just looked at the surface, yeah, his actions can be easily interpreted as the predictable behavior of a perverted predator, especially given the fact that Gon and Killua are minors. We never forget that. Yet, I still say, within the narrative, Hisoka is very clearly presented as a philosopher of combat and power, someone whose very existence and self-purpose on this planet is defined by his enjoyment of the thrill of battle and the beauty of potential opponents. His words and the overall way he conducts himself forces us to consider if his interest is purely sexual or if it's an expression of his deep-seated belief that power and growth are inherently seductive. And I still argue and consider the latter. Also this episode, Hisoka gives a false story regarding why he's here on Greed Island. He says he's looking for Chrollo to help get rid of his Nen, and that he used Chrollo's name in the hopes the troop will look for him. When in actuality, he was hired by Chrollo. He knows where Chrollo is. He's met with Chrollo. His real motive is tracking the exorcist, and him and the troop have already met on the island, as we've seen. He knows that if Gon and Killua were to learn that he's actually directly concerned with the Nen exorcist, they might either contact Kurapika or take measures that would inadvertently delay his long-awaited confrontation with Chrollo even more. The most ingenious part of his deception is his use of texture surprise to hide what his binder really shows. They should have never said Tsezguerra's name out loud, because he wouldn't have been able to use that name. When Gon and Killua take a peek to scrutinize his list of contacts, they find no evidence of his interaction with the spiders. Erase them with texture surprise. So even when Killua begins to piece together the inconsistencies in his story, Hisoka remains one step ahead. They might both be transmuters with similar personalities, but Hisoka is the master. Killua might be one step ahead of most, but Hisoka is 2 steps ahead of everyone else. Hisoka is a master of not only manipulating his surroundings, but also the perception of himself and his own actions. Both Bisky and Killua are quick to pick up Hisoka's lies or consistencies. Bisky first, with her seasoned intuition and 50 years as a liar like she admits, she immediately sensed something is off. Killua's mind is then stirred by just a single word, bore. Hisoka is both the benchmark and the catalyst for the boy's growth. It's another thing about that appetizing comment. It's loaded with irony. While it may seem like crude flattery, it also indicates that their power and potential has indeed been maturing. Because you know, if Hisoka is getting aroused by Gon and Killua, they really must be and really are getting stronger. If Hisoka is getting aroused by Gon and Killua, that means they really are getting more powerful. That's like the litmus test. That's why I say he's the benchmark. Anytime he returns after some long absence, you got to watch their dynamic tension, because Hisoka's predatory nature is intricately linked to the boys' growth. That's why you can never say Hisoka, like, why this is so unnecessary as a character. No, it's directly linked to the boys' growth. It's the litmus test. It's the benchmark. You can find it super creepy, but you also have to admit, you get hyped when it happens too, because it means Gon and Killua are getting more powerful. All in all, I love Hisoka as a character unapologetically. Like I have continuously said, I want him to be a main character with lots of screen time. I want him to be one of the main people that the story follows around, like it does for Kurapika or whoever else and such, when we're not tailing Gon and or Killua. Hisoka isn't merely an antagonist or merely reintroduced to be comic relief. He's an incredibly multifaceted force whose presence seriously reshapes the narrative landscape. His naked, almost ritualistic appearance in the water sets that tone for him in this arc. Unpredictable, sexually charged, and terrifyingly clever. His remarks, his gazing, his strategic deceptions, it all serves to remind us that Hisoka's world is one where power, beauty, and perversion intermingle. Today's episode reaffirms he is as much an enigma as he is a predator. His overt lechery might tempt us to dismiss or write him off as a merely a perverted villain, but I would not conclude that so fast. Even so, regardless, whether you interpret his actions as straightforwardly perverse or as a part of a more elaborate philosophical approach to power and desire, you cannot deny that Hisoka is a critical fulcrum in the entire Hunter x Hunter narrative. He forces the characters in the story and us, the audience, following the story to confront uncomfortable questions about attraction, trust, about the very nature of strength in a world where nothing is as it seems. Today's episode 68, in general, is just a masterclass in layered storytelling. It was unpredictable. It was complex. It was nuanced. And most of all, unafraid. Now, I just want to see more of Gon and Killua and Hisoka and Bisky too. And our new ally, even him, I don't even know his name, but we're all teamed up. I want to see Gon, Killua, and Hisoka against Razor, against Genthru, anyone, just bring it on. And that's where I'm going to end today's discussion. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already to stay in the loop here on the channel. Keep the conversation going down in the comments below. And if you're interested in early access and bonus exclusive content, check out my Patreon. Having said all that, and with that said, so long, until next time, thank you, have a good one, peace.